Anybody can catch a winning trade. But what is your performance like over time? Well, as you know, in 2024, I've given every single one of my trades live ahead of time publicly for free. And in these 11 months, I've given 66 live signals with entry, stop loss, take profit levels, and full explanation. And in these signals, we've together achieved over 57% gain. On top of that, this month, I've been live streaming my sessions where I'm on a Zoom call during my trading session, executing in front of people, and each one of my wins and losses shown, each one of my thoughts, everything in front of people. Specifically this month, we are up 3% and I'll show you the proof. Moreover, in my live stream sessions in front of my inner circle members, this month I have gained 7% across multiple trades. So combined for my own performance between the 3% given to the public and 7% in front of my inner circle members, together this month I have achieved 10% gain, which for me personally netted over $100,000 from Forex trading within the markets. And this for me, after 9 years of trading, is what real life trading looks like. So in this video, I'm going to go through the step-by-step, candle-by-candle confluences of the reasons I took the trades. So if you start to understand one of my models very well from one trade, you'll be well along your way to being a fully profitable trader. And with this information, you'll realize every single one of my trades follows the same blueprint. So this is an overview of the trades from the 16th where I was live streaming with my members and also giving public signals across this week. And I'm going to rewind on replay mode just to go through candle by candle, but just an overview before we dig in. We can start to see inducement is king. Supply and demand, important. Market structure, important. Smart money, but inducements are king, and inducements is something you have to follow the narrative with. So you can see not only do we have a supply zone that led to a low, we have price coming back to that extreme, but doing an inducement and pushing lower. And we're starting to build a picture and saying who's in control based on inducements. So when we see this inducement, we know sellers are in control. When we see this inducement, we know buyers are in control. When we see this inducement, buyers in control. When we see this inducement, sellers. So you're building a narrative of step-by-step of inducements linked to supply and demand to align with opportunities. But let's actually go and rewind all the way to the start of this day, delete all of the drawing tools and actually go step by step to see exactly how we navigated this day, to explain exactly what I was thinking. So for context, on the 30-minute or higher time frames, we can see we are clearly bearish and we're leading with inducement. Inducements lead the trend. So we know the market is bearish, but we did arrive to an interesting point of interest, and namely it was a demand area over here. This demand area on a higher time frame that led to bullish price action all the way up here. Price originated from this point, and this point I was particularly interested in because not only is it a demand area that led to a high high, it is also a run of liquidity inducement zone, specifically build up, smart money zone, inducement of smart money, push out. So when price arrives back here, I'm interested to see what happens. Now, I know that the market is bearish currently, arriving to a higher time frame demand area. I need to see who's in control. And I can either say, we're in a demand area, therefore I should buy. Or you could say, oh, right now the trend is bearish, so I should sell. Well, the reality is it's neither. You can't just say current trend, therefore sell. Or higher time frame, buy zone, therefore buy. You have to have a bit more discretion to understand who's in control. Are the buyers actually controlling the demand area or not? Are the sellers still in control as we arrive into demand? Well, how do we know this? The only way to know this is inducements. And if you don't read the inducements, you're trading blind. So that's exactly what I did when I arrived to this session. I needed to see who is in control. So let me paint that picture with you. So from the previous day, the 15th, which I also did a live stream with my members, as I do pretty much every day, we had this liquidity pool. Highs over here, and price did an inducement, running that liquidity and tapping into a supply zone, a 5-minute supply zone. So when I see prices tapping into a supply zone, like so, it's running liquidity and giving a bearish reaction, but most importantly, when is it happening? We're getting a build-up, inducement, and inducement of previous highs happening within a time window. Remember the gray box, which is my specifically coded indicator for myself to know key moments in the day. This is my New York window. So it's happening at a key moment in time in a supply zone, inducing previous day's high and liquidity of the day and giving a liquidity cycle on M1. Perfect to show me the sellers are in control. The moment I see the sellers are still in control by having this break of structure, then I wait for this higher time frame demand zone. When price arrives to this higher time frame demand zone, what do I see? As expected, as always, inducements are the key. So I see a build-up of liquidity, inducement, and push out. So when I see that bullish break of structure, I know that the buyers are in control. I see build-up, inducement, buyers are in control. So even though I know the sellers are in control up here, that control was only to allow price to come down to this demand area. Now that I'm in this higher time frame demand area, inducement number one, in a higher time frame demand, buyers are gaining control. Inducement number two, with a bullish break, buyers are in control. Let's continue on. I see my Asia range build up, inducement high, push down. Who's in control? The sellers are in control. Where do we arrive? No coincidence where we arrive. We arrive to the previous inducement right here, the refined IFC. Where does price tap into? Exactly that previous inducement. So who's in control now? Buyers. How do we know? Because we see another inducement, a minor inducement. Build up, inducement, push out, mitigation, push out, mitigation. Who's in control? Buyers once again. Where are they going to go? To the next inducement supply. So where does price go? It goes to the next inducement supply right here, taps in, gives a break of structure, but then fails. That zone fails. What is that telling me? That the higher time frame demand area that we identified with this inducement, once that was mitigated, the buyers are in control. This seller's inducement was only to bring price lower. We are going from zone to zone. Inducement is telling us who's in control. So you align with that. So when I see this area fails, and this actually leads price to come higher, I know the buyers are still in control. So when I see the buyers are in control, and then I arrive to the end of Asia range, and I see this very obvious M1 trend line. What is this telling me? This is telling me, hey guys, get into sells. Everybody get into sells. The day is going to be bearish. That's what the market is convincing people. It's trying to get London traders to get FOMO into buying, because all they are seeing is bearish market structure on a higher time frame. They zoom out to M15, and what do they see? They see all of this lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. The market is bearish, and then they come to the session and they see bearish trend line. They are inviting sellers in. Well, what do we know? We know that not only are the buyers in control for now, we also need to see this liquidity pool right here, this build up, this inducement, and this bearish price action. Is this of control? Or is Asia high liquidity, Asia low liquidity? So we cannot make a decision until we get an inducement. So that's what we wait for. We don't fall for these early Frankfurt London trader traps. And remember, this is the low of that higher time frame demand area. So I'm going to be watching this area because it's right to buy previous day low, Asia low, and higher time frame demand zone. I know there's a lot of liquidity right in this demand area. So I'm going to wait and see who's in control based on liquidity. Okay, so what is this telling us right here? Market is no coincidence. It does exactly what we see every single day. Build up of liquidity right here based on that minor equal highs, inducement of that liquidity, this high over here and this high over here. Once we get that inducement, what do we see? Bearish break of structure, retracement, mitigation to close the imbalance, and bearish push. When does it happen? Look at my indicator. It's telling me exactly when it happens. It's on the minute, 7 a.m. UK time, on the minute of Frankfurt Open. So on Frankfurt Open, I get a full liquidity cycle on M1, which is going to be my build-up, inducement, bearish break of structure, mitigation, push down on the minute of Frankfurt Open. Tell me time is not important when you see something like this every single day. Now, when I see this, I need to see who's in control. Is this inducement in control, or now this higher time frame demand area getting induced? Probably the demand area. So I need to watch and see who's in control. So I'm seeing price has done that higher time frame inducement and we are still going lower. That means there's not enough liquidity yet, or we know the show is being run by this inducement right here. So let's mark this out just so we know. But right now, this build up inducement red box supply zone mitigation on the minute of Frankfurt Open is in control. Those sellers are in control. And now we need to see the liquidity of all of these stops in this higher time frame demand. Now that they have been liquidated, let's see if they bring in control. So what are we seeing right here? We're seeing a bit of a trend line. I'm noticing that. Nothing to take a decision on. Now price is doing this lows. I want to see if that's important. So we have liquidity here that price might be inducing. We have this trend line that price could be magnetized towards. We know trend line traders could be selling on London Open. So I need to see, is this an inducement right here? Why am I interested in it? Well, a few reasons. Number one, we have a minor inducement over here. That we have a small equal lows build up, we have an inducement potentially, price magnetized towards this trend line, and mainly a major inducement because of a higher time frame demand area getting swept. So we're getting higher time frame demand swept. M1 minor inducement, price getting magnetized towards this, but also Asia high liquidity. We have to notice that, but also most importantly, time. I always tell you, time, liquidity, lower time frame confirmation. Let's see if that happens right now. Time, which is on the minute of London Open. We saw on the minute of Frankfurt Open, injection of volume, sweeping liquidity. Let's see what we get on the minute of London Open. Time is no coincidence. This is important to notice. We get an inducement and then we get a follow through. This is perfect confirmation to know who's in control. How clean can this be? Higher time frame, major inducement, sweeping a demand area. M1 inducement of a minor build up. Inducement on the minute of London Open. Bullish break of structure attacking this liquidity. This is showing me, screaming to me, buyers are in control. So what do? We mark out the demand area of buyers and we wait for a buy situation right here. We've got every confirmation to take this trade. So now that we've had the break of structure, we allow price to play and we see, is price going to come back to our demand area? That's exactly where we look to execute. So now that price has tapped into this zone, we have a decision to make, which is, do we have reasons for price to come higher? First of all, we have these local highs we could target. Number two, we have this inducement supply price could target, but I'm not hopeful of it because Frankfurt is usually a trap. Then we have Asia high to target. And then we have the previous day's inducement supply zone to target. So when I look back and I say, is there reasons for price to come higher? Certainly there is. And is there fuel for this? Certainly there is. There is a major higher time frame inducement of this whole higher time frame demand area getting swept. So now I'm really interested in this trade. I need to validate an entry. And I enter in my London window, which is my preferred key window. Time, inducement, lower time frame confirmation. We have the inducement, we have the time, we have lower time frame confirmation, and we have zones to attack. This is a great trade you should always be taking. I'm entering with a 4 pip stop loss within my tolerable range of 3 to 7 pips, ideal. I know I break even upon a M1 shift, so I break even right here. And I'll take my first profit, as always, 1 to 3 risk to reward. That 1 to 3 risk to reward will be around here, even before my Asia high liquidity. So this should be a great trade. Everything is aligning nicely. So that is the trade set, locked in. And this is exactly a position that I would always take. It's a prime setup. Now I see this reaction. I'm watching and I'm thinking, perfect. We have attacked that liquidity, perfect. The reason I'm not getting out of this trade or breaking even is because I see this buildup of liquidity right here. These lows. And that low right here is getting swept. So I'm thinking, is this an inducement right here? And with that inducement, mitigating the previous demand area, which I wanted it to, right here. Price is tapping into that demand area. Minor inducement right here and trend line liquidity to be magnetized towards. So now I have another inducement cycle within my window. This is a great trade to keep holding. And with that, we have the mitigation and start to attack that trend line liquidity. We come to this previous Frankfurt high inducement, not usually supposed to hold, and we wipe straight through it, and we arrive to our 1 to 3 take profit 1. We lock in 50% volume, so 1.5% gain right here. Now that is a perfect trade. I don't think there's anything better. So New York can be a continuation or New York can be a reversal. So let's fast forward to our New York window. Usually in between, I won't take decisions. And once we arrive to the New York window, we start to make a new analysis to say, should we sell to find a New York reversal? Should we buy to find a New York continuation? Or should we stay out and ride this trade that we have? So as I arrive to my New York open on the minutes right now, what are we seeing? The price is still hovering around Asia high. And what am I noticing? That Asia high was swept. We had Asia high sweep of liquidity. We took out this trend line that I mentioned earlier. So that area got taken out. All of that liquidity gone. This supply zone of Frankfurt high gone. There was no reason to sell there. Now Asia high liquidity is taken. But what am I seeing? I'm seeing a very obvious trend line, like so, liquidity. And am I seeing any intent? Well, within here, no inducement, no inducement, no inducement, no inducement. So there's no reason for me to see sellers are in control. So I'm going to assume my major inducement on the higher time frame, on the minutes, minor inducement, mitigation with the minor inducement, buyers are still clearly in control, and the Asia high liquidity is not enough. So they engineer price to get sellers in, and we take them out. So that's what I'm interested in. And as I wait for New York open, I need to see, is there any further traps? Okay, when I see this, I need to see what has price arrived to here. I look left. Okay, price is arriving to a local supply, like so. I need to see, is this local supply important? Well, I look left and I say it's pretty important. Even though it's only M1, this area of support was taken out by these sellers. This previous lower low and this equal low liquidity right here, who took it out? Who took out that liquidity and previous low? These sellers were the fuel for price to come lower. So I would expect some sort of reaction here. So when price arrives here, not only do I have inducement of Asia high, I have inducement of this early sellers and trend line. And now we're arriving to my key window based on my coded indicator to tell me we're in a key moment in time. We've induced Asia high, trend line, and we're arriving to supply. right area at the right time, I need to see, are the sellers in control for me to now potentially sell? So as I'm arriving to this area, there's a certain decision to make, and that decision is, should I sell or not? So step number one is this a valid zone? Yes. Is it in a valid time? Yes. Have we had a bearish rejection after that inducement? Yes. We've had a bearish break of structure. So that bearish break of structure is confirming this inducement of Asia high, arriving to a previous supply, giving a bearish reaction. This is a valid zone to be selling from. Does it meet the criteria of valid supply zone size? Yes, it's within our tolerable range, 4.5 pip stop loss. So this is okay to be selling at. Now, because we have this inducement low, is this in a demand area? No. So is this likely to be the inducement to fuel price higher? It could be, but I wouldn't bet on it. So this is now a decision to make to say, are smart money traders going to be getting over here? It's a New York kill zone. Smart money traders like the equal lows run of liquidity push out. So they're going to be entering in this area potentially, riding this trend. So I need to think, are smart money traders loading up here? And is this inducement right now in control? So the sellers are in control. I need to see this potentially as liquidity, and I need to wait to see what really happens. So this is the first area you could get in, and you tap in. And when I continue on and I see an internal break of structure like so, this is further telling me the sellers could be in control, and I see what's happening next. Price is doing a mini build up and inducement. So this is telling me the sellers are still in control based on the inducement into supply, and then bearish break of structure, mitigation, follow through inducement is telling me sellers are in control, and this area is likely to be a trap. And because this area right now has an inducement within it, this is the preferred area to be selling within. This is within our key window of time. We are protected by an inducement. We have a appropriate size zone like so. And we have a smart money trap to be reacting off. So I'm following through with inducement number one, in mitigation, inducement number two, sellers are in control. This is a buyer's trap smart money zone, and the buyers should not come into control until we arrive to the previous demand area like so. So I have a reason for price to come lower to close off these zones. So I know that this is a worthwhile sell, and this is what I did live on stream with my members, executed in front of everyone, because this is a valid trade. So I wait for smart money trades to be tapped in, getting excited on that zone, giving those smart money traders a small reaction. I'm tapped into my trade, which is not a one-off trade. This is not my best trade of my life. This is something I'm doing in front of my community very often. And imagine the power of live streaming with someone that has a proven track record, proven profitability, and doing it with someone that's been trading for almost a decade. This month, 7% alone on my live streams on a funded account of $100,000. That could be $7,000 just by following along with me in live stream sessions, let alone my public signals, which I've verified this month 3%. But you've seen it over a year. Within my community, there's one-to-one mentorships, there's live coaching from me, there's live sessions from me, there's every single trade I take, I do a breakdown, there's market forecasts, Sunday outlook, not just a little online course where I give you recordings and hope you figure it out. It's a personalized, catered approach, which is why it's application only. But you can imagine the power and the impact of live trading with someone, having market outlooks, attending one-to-one sessions, me going through your journal and inspecting each one of your wins and losses to see if you're on the right track. This is a full-on real incubator, and this is what real guidance and real mastermind consulting and mentorship really looks like. Anyhow, I'm in the trade now, tapped in, as are the members. And very quickly, upon this M1 shift, we break even, and we hope for the session volatility to kick in and ride for the rest of the day. So this is our break even point right here. Our 1 to 3, we take a partial, which will be right here. And then, of course, as always, TP2 is 1 to 10. So we extend it out and we have our TP2, 1 to 10. So therefore, TP1 locking in 50%. At 1 to 3, 1.5%. At TP2, 1 to 10, we'll lock in the remaining volume. So that's going to be another 5%. And total, if this full trade plays out, 6.5%. And let's see what happens. Price blows through that demand area because the sellers are in control. London close happens. And what happens right here? Price slowly continues on all the way down towards TP. This is what real trading looks like. This is when you understand liquidity. It doesn't matter about high time frame demand. It doesn't matter about market structure. It matters about liquidity control. Liquidity, time, inducement, lower time frame. These are the keys of the market. And this is how you're able to profit highly in the market consistently with high probability, high win rate trades. And in a single day, 1 to 3 risk reward. So 1.5% here. And then over here, we have 6.5% because of TP2. So in a single day, up to 7%. This is not regular. This is not every day. But that's why you need to understand and high probability trading, and this is a perfect example of that. Also, my public signals, which I haven't forgotten about, and I've been doing it for almost a year, which nobody has done for this duration of time to prove profitability. And let's show you what this month has looked like. So this was one trade from the month where I said I'm getting into this trade at 12:19. You can see at the top, I can't fake that. That's the time of the screenshots. When do I post it? 12:22. So just 2-3 minutes later, this screenshot I took at 12:20. I'm sending the tweet at 12:22. So just 2 minutes after I've taken all my screenshots, divergence and better confirmation on GU with inducements, taking this buy right now. So the context was I was looking at EU. I explained EU, didn't like the lower time frame, so I took it on GU, and I'm saying taking this buy right now. You can see my entry, you can see my stop loss. This is in real time. The moment I take the screenshot, the moment I post the trade, I post it on Twitter as a signal, and I give the full commentary. So if you go and find this tweet, which is just from a couple of days ago, you can see all of the commentary, exactly what I was doing. I'm saying I'm getting in this buy right now. You can see my MT4. Then you can see my updates. I'm seeing the reaction. It's looking nice. Time to break even, I mentioned to members. And right now, this is as always. We have inducement on the time window with a divergence. Minor build-up, inducement, break of structure, mitigation. This is the stuff I talk about all the time. Repeat, repeat, repeat. The reaction is given. I'm in the trade. I break even. So are you guys as the public. And then we see smart money trap. What do we know? Price blows through it. That's why I put the arrow and say I'm still bullish on this, not to worry. I see a trendline liquidity targets, as I showed you guys another example of today. Same things again and again. And then price flies. And I say perfect stuff. TP1 smash, lock in 50%. As I always say, time, price, inducement. As always. So TP1 smash from live signal that you can see right here. The time of the tweet, you can see 12:22 and the left over here. My screenshot is at 12:20, just 2 minutes prior. Live call outs. And then as you see the full commentary, and towards the end, what do we have? At 12:40, we take TP1. Just 20 minutes to get to TP1. That's me summarizing signal 64, TP1, 1 to 3, 1.5% locked in, brings the total for the year 57%. And you can see full documentation of the after and also of the before. As clean as it gets. This is not a one-off. This is something I do all the time. This was just yesterday. So just yesterday, I'm talking about this trade right here, and I give it as a signal. I say Euro USD sell signal. This is signal number 65. This is what I'm looking for. And this is exactly the analysis. And then as you see, I'm scrolling through, I'm giving the full analysis, and I'm saying, this is what I'm looking for. So if you focus on this tweet, I'm saying sell, stop, trade. I think the inducement of the day has been made, and I'm selling away from that. So this on the left corner is the inducement of the day. Makes sense to sell away from it. Trendline liquidity, inducement. And then I'm waiting for this minor inducement right here. I'm seeing that bearish reaction. I'm sell, stop trading that trade. So what do? I give the analysis. I mark up my chart. At 2:57, I am taking the screenshot so you can see exactly where the candle is, exactly when I'm triggering. The tweet you can see is at 2:58, just 1 minute later. Live trading as always, sell stop trade. You can see my own sell stop position right here. I've placed it, sell stop, and everything's good to go. And then you keep scrolling. Price is now in profit. You can see price is giving a nice reaction, and I document the whole thing. And you can see the full management on Twitter, and you can see at the end, news helped us out, and we ended up taking that trade very nicely. And this trade ended up hitting take profit 1. So 1 to 3 risk reward, locking in 1.5%. So basically from these two tweets, my public signals of this month of October, there was 1.5% and 1.5% because both trades hit TP1. So 3% in total on the public signals. You can follow it for free if you want to take the trades with me or just learn from them. And then obviously with the members, 7% gain this month. So this is what live trading looks like. This is the reality of the markets. And if you want to find real guidance from real traders, I think this is the best opportunity I could deliver. I wanted to create an environment that was not just a course, but something that was really personalized, a very vibrant, passionate community, and which is why we've had hundreds of funded traders. We've had traders that have made thousands and thousands of dollars in payouts. Why? Because I put my neck on the line and I live stream with my members. I give public call outs. I show transparency. I show proof. And most importantly, a predefined data-driven edge. And that's why I always say the key to profitability is a restricted trader is a profitable trader.